Welcome to the Arun Church podcast, where our mission is bringing life to everyone, everywhere, every day. Each podcast episode features the latest talk from our church, which are released weekly. We're passionate about Jesus, love to worship together, and are committed to changing our community for the better. Connect with us at arunchurch.com. Thank you, Joe. Morning, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. So, lots of news, isn't there, this morning? Lots of things going on. And how amazing that we're talking about being rooted in love today. So that's our topic. That's what we're thinking about, being rooted in love. Now, this is my news, all right? I've got quite a lot of news, but this is a bit of my news. I went away about 2 weeks ago, and I went to this, it was this guy called Richard Garnett, and he was doing a speaker's masterclass, and there were 12 people invited to go, 12 women invited to go, and I was invited to go. And I thought, well, the thing was that he is in the last stages of cancer treatment, and he was diagnosed 9 years ago with terminal cancer, and he was given 18 months to live at that point, and he's still living now. And what he wanted to do was he wanted to come and he wanted to just bring everything that he'd learned. He's an actor, but he also was a guy who had been helping coach speakers. So he wanted to bring all the good things that he'd ever learned in his life and bring them and, say, here's some good stuff that I've learned. Now, it's absolutely terrifying. Can you imagine going to a speaker's thing? It was I was thinking, right, in all honesty, I thought I'll just go, right, and I'm just going to be inspired. I'm going to sit there and think, oh, isn't this brilliant? Isn't this amazing? Well, little did I know, they were you had to work. You had to, by the end of it, you had to do a 20-minute preach with no notes, with all these things that you had to do, and you had to do it in his format, the way that he wanted it done, and you had to do it in front of everyone, and then you had to get up and talk in a really over-the-top way, like a really crazy way, and they had to tell you whether you were too over-the-top. It's like GCSE drama, isn't it? You don't want to go back to those days, do you? When you have to go and, get up on the stage and do that sort of thing. So anyway, we had to do all this. And but it was really, really good for me. It was really, really stretching for me. It was really, really challenging for me. And he was really challenging, and he was really brutal. And you kind of got up there and talked, and he was critiquing you. And it was really, really a good thing to do, but a hard thing to do. So I hope that my preach is good today. That's all I'm saying. I just hope that. Anyway, and the reason why you have to listen to me ever such a lot, don't you? I mean, nearly every week you have to. Off she goes. Anyway, I know you don't think that. I know that you're great people, and you don't think, she goes again. But I want to be a good speaker. I want to speak in a good way, because he says we have 9 minutes of attention, all of us. I've already used it up, everyone. I've already used up all the attention. I might as well sit down. But anyway, it's really important, and I want to be somebody that learns and who is learning all the time in everything that I'm doing. So here we go. This is the talk that I gave, because we had to research the talk that we were going to give the next, and this was it. So we're going to talk about love today, and we're going to talk about being rooted in love. So I wonder, everybody here, can you think of the last time you felt completely and utterly in love? Okay, just have a little bit of a think about it. Some of you will find that very easy today, but just have a little bit of a think about when you felt completely and utterly in love, all right? Now I want you to think, have you all thought of that? Good. Okay, now have a bit of a think about when you really loved someone. What does that feel like? What does it feel like to really, really love someone? Just close your eyes, think about that. What does it feel like to really love someone? What's the feelings that you get inside when you love someone? So think about a time when you felt loved, and think about a time when you've really loved. And then I want you to have a bit of a think about the time that your heart was broken. Everybody's heart gets broken. When did you feel heartbreak in your life? When did you feel completely heartbroken? You see, the thing is that we all know what love is supposed to look like, and we all know, we talk about love, this song's about love, there's loads of ways that we talk about love in poems, and we have pop songs all about love all of the time. But you know, I was thinking about when I had my first baby, and I was thinking about when she was born. I had so much anticipation of what that would feel like, and it did feel amazing and great, and boy, did I absolutely love her. But love with a newborn is really interesting because you're up in the night and you're tired and you're exhausted, and there's a lot of things. Sometimes you think, this is really difficult. When your children grow up, sometimes you think, I love you with all my heart, but this is really, there's some real challenge in the way that we love. You may have cared for somebody. You may be caring right now for your partner or for your parents or someone. It's difficult, love. Sometimes it's really, really challenging. Love can be challenging. You may have somebody in your office, in your workplace, who is very, very competitive and competing with you and making your life really, really miserable and really difficult. What does love look like in that place when somebody's nasty to you, somebody's not being kind to you? What's happening when your children are, they're sometimes doing stuff that you're like, oh, this is so challenging. It's so difficult. How do I keep loving in this? What happens when somebody is absolutely horrible to you, really nasty to you, takes you down, is out to get you? How do you love in that circumstance? How do we love? Well, the Bible has loads and loads to say about love, but the best passage is 1 Corinthians 13, and I'm going to read that to you, and it's going to come up here as well so we can see it. I'm reading it from the Message version. The NIV is brilliant as well, but it's just, there's just something beautiful in this. If I speak with human eloquence and angelic ecstasy, but I don't love, I'm nothing but the creaking of a rusty gate. If I speak in God's word with power, revealing all his mysteries, making everything plain as day. And I have faith that says to a mountain, jump, and it jumps. But I don't love, I'm nothing. If I give everything I own to the poor and go to the stake to be burned as a martyr, but I don't love, I've got nowhere. No matter what I say, what I believe, what I do, I am bankrupt without love. Love never gives up. Love cares more for others than for self. Love doesn't want what it doesn't have. Love doesn't strut, doesn't have a swelled head, doesn't force itself on others, and it isn't always me first. It doesn't fly off the handle. It doesn't keep score of the sins of others. It doesn't revel when others grovel. It takes pleasure in the flowering of truth. It puts up with anything. It trusts God. Always. It always looks for the best. It never looks back, but keeps going to the end. Love never dies. Now, we often have this verse in a beautiful wedding, don't we? When everything's great and everyone's having the most wonderful time and the couple are madly in love with each other and they stand in front of each other and we read this verse out. And it's the most beautiful thing. But do you know what? This verse was written by a guy called Paul. So Paul he came after Jesus. So Jesus had died, died, and come back to life. And then Paul, he was one of the early Christians. He had a miraculous time in finding God. And Paul wrote this letter. And he wrote it to the Corinthian church. And so the letters are in the last bit of the Bible. And he wrote this to the Corinthians. And the Corinthians were a church that were not happy with each other. They were having a right old ding-dong. All of them. They were at loggerheads with each other. The Corinthian church was arguing. They were fighting. There was some of the Corinthians were like, there's a guy in the Corinthian church that was a very, very rich guy. He could pay for absolutely everything. I don't know if he was. There was the treasurer. There would have been Jews. There would have been Gentiles. There were slaves in the Corinthian church. And then there were free people. I don't know if the slaves and the masters were coming together to the church. There were children. There were men, there were women, but there was also a lot of trouble between them. They were falling out. And that is where Paul is writing. He's writing to not a nice little, place that everyone's getting along together. He's writing to a group of people that are really having trouble liking each other at all. So what does he say? First of all, he says, if we look at what love is, we can have that up here as well again. If we look at what love is, love never gives up. It cares more for others than for self. Now, I don't know about you, but do you care for other people in your life more than you do care for yourself? Do you want what you don't have? I mean, do you ever look at Instagram or Facebook or something like that and think, oh, they're having a great time, aren't they? They're loving life. Isn't their life brilliant? Well, I'd like a bit of that. My life's not going so great. I'd like a bit. If we're honest, we're jealous sometimes about what other people have and what other people have got in their lives. And love isn't jealous. Love doesn't look at other people and says, I want that and I'm jealous of that. That's not what love is. Love neither does love strut or have a swelled head, which is basically saying it's not boastful. So if you're on Facebook and you're like, or Instagram, and you're like, look at my life, isn't it brilliant? Look at it. That's not love either. You're boasting about the greatness maybe that's happening in your life. If you were talking to someone, this is the hard thing about social media, isn't it? If you're talking face to face with someone, you'd be far more, sensitive. I hope you would. I hope you wouldn't go up to somebody who's just lost their husband and said, look at my life, isn't it brilliant? But that's what happens on social media sometimes. We have to be aware that when we boast, we sometimes can affect other people. And love is not boasting. I mean, I'm not saying that we don't celebrate good news. Of course I'm not. Of course we celebrate, but there's a difference between celebrating good news and boasting. And love isn't boasting. Love isn't me first. We live in a society, we live in a world that is definitely me first. It says it all the time. Think about yourself. Think about what you need. Think about me first. Me first. Love isn't me first. If you go to the dinner table, Tim and I always say this to Tim, when we have people round, it's always family last, isn't it? Like you visitors go first. Love isn't me first. That's not what we do. Love doesn't fly off the handle. Oh, what about this? Oh, love doesn't fly off the handle, so we don't lose our temper with each other. Love doesn't keep a score of the sins of others. Now that's an interesting one, isn't it? Who doesn't do that? I mean, I know all the things that Tim's done in his whole life. I've got a score, haven't you? Haven't we got scores of what each other has done? We do, don't we? We don't keep, love, actually, it says here, doesn't keep a score of the sins of others. We don't say, in 1942, I wasn't allowed then, that's not a good, in 1971, you did this to me. Love doesn't keep a score of what others have done. Love doesn't revel when others grovel. I mean, we'd never say we were reveling, would we, when others grovel, but sometimes we do, don't we? Sometimes when somebody's been really nasty or done something and something happens and you're like, oh, there you go, but it takes pleasure in the flowering of truth. It puts up with anything. It trusts God always. It always looks for the best. Do we look for the best? When you come home from work, maybe you come in, you think, the house is a mess. Absolutely terrible. Is that looking for the best? It's not, no, is it? Sometimes we go, oh, look at this. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. That's wrong with you. You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be doing this. It's the first thing we always think about, the good thing in each other. It's the first thing we think about, the good thing when we go into work. It's the first thing we think about, the good thing when you meet your friend or your, come home from work. Is that the first thing you think of? Because that's what love is. Love is seeing the gold in each other, the beauty in each other, the goodness in each other, and dwelling on that and thinking on that. Love is coming into the house with an absolute mess and helping tidy up rather than moaning. That's what love is. And so we know and we can see a little bit about what he's talking about with love. Now, I have to tell you, I had this amazing, great day the other day. Well, it was planned, amazing and great. So, it's Valentine's Day, and, back in the 14th of Feb. So, Valentine's Day, and I had the children, my grandchildren, round for the day. So I thought, what I'm going to do, I'm going to call it Love Day, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on Amazon and I'm going to buy these books, these love books, and I'm going to wrap them up in heart-shaped paper, and I'm going to get the children around. We're going to have heart-shaped pancakes. There's some pictures coming up. We're going to have some heart-shaped pancakes, and oh, look, here we go. I'm going to have heart-shaped pancakes. I'm going to do craft, and I'm going to get this lovely craft, and I'm going to do a red rug, and the red rug's going to have all the red things on it. And we're going to have balloons. We're going to have, and I'm going to talk about love. And we're going to talk about how much we love each other. We're going to talk about what love is together. We're going to talk about Jesus' love. It's going to be just the most amazing day together. We're just going to have a great day. And I planned it all, and I worked hard, and I got it all sorted, and I got it all ready for the day. And around came the children. Oh dear. I can't tell you. Within 30 seconds, I didn't even get 2 minutes. Within 30 seconds, there was an argument and a fight, and the children were fighting, and then they didn't want my pancakes. Can you believe it? They were like, no, we don't want pancakes. So I was like, oh, and then I tried to do my pancakes anyway, and then all the mixture went all underneath the heart-shaped thing, and I was like, this is a disaster, and I'm all stressed, and I'm all hot, and I'm all sweaty, and I'm trying to make it all great, and I'm trying to make Love Day great, and it's going disastrously wrong, and everybody's arguing, and they're fighting, and I'm splitting up fights all day. And, there are a few amazing, beautiful, great moments in it. But basically, Love Day didn't go as I had planned, okay? It just didn't. And at the end of the day, I thought, I can't do anything. Do you ever think, I'm just not winning, I'm not doing well at this, I haven't succeeded. How am I so rubbish at this? And God said to me, you know what? That's what love is, Becca. Love is messy. Love is loving in the mess. That's what it is. We have to learn to love in the mess of life. There's a brilliant quote that says, what did you think the love was for? And I often think about that. It's by a philosopher, I think. But what he's saying there is, what did you think love was for? Did you think it was for the good, for the kind, for the beautiful? What did we think love was for? It's for the ugly. It's for the difficult. It's for the challenging. It's for the mess. That's what love is for. And it's amazing that there is such power in love. Such amazing power in love. Not the love of power, but it is the power of love that changes things. It's the power of love, not the love of power, that changes the world that we live in. And you may say, well, there's loads of things more powerful than love, Becca. As it says here in Corinthians, he talks about, I could speak with human eloquence, but I'm nothing but a rusty gate. What about having faith that says jump? Isn't that more powerful? Surely that's more powerful than love, isn't it? Surely it's more powerful than love to go to the stake to be burnt. But it says no. Surely it's more powerful to give everything you own to the poor. No, he says, love is the powerful thing. Love is the most amazing thing. Love is the most powerful thing that we can ever do in our lives. And it's accessible to each one of us. Isn't that absolutely amazing? And then we look at Jesus. Jesus, he did not love power. He knew the power of love, though. And Jesus himself, he was born into a mess. Even the way that he was born just like you and me, with a mess and the guts and the gore of being born. And then he was born into a stable, not into a sterile hospital, into a messy stable. He was love personified and born into a mess. The mess of the world, the mess of the place around him, the mess of relationships. And he came and he loved. He loved with a power, with an integrity, with a beauty that no one ever has loved with before or since on this earth. He loved in a way that he was crucified. He went to the cross. He put out his arms. He let go of every bit of power in him so that we could know the power of love. He put out his arms and he died so that we could know what real love is, so that we could be embraced by that love, so that we could walk with that love every day of our lives. Jesus loved in the mess. Jesus loved in the most terrible, terrible place. He continued to love. So what does that mean for us then? What does that mean for us? What's God saying to us? What's his invitation to us? And I think his invitation to us is to love in the mess. He says to us, are you going to love in the mess? Are you going to love in the place that you're in? Are you going to keep loving in that place? That's his invitation. I can remember going to Cambodia and taking the children to a lady who was running an orphanage. She was 72. She had given her whole life to the children in Cambodia. And when there was genocide there, she'd had to move out, but she'd continued and she'd come back. And she sacrificed her whole life for those children. And I watched somebody who was an old woman, love in a desperate, dirty, horrible place. She'd even bought the orphanage on the site of like a burial place because nobody else would go there. And she loved in that mess. What does it mean for us to love in the mess? What does it mean for you when you're with your children day in, day out and things are difficult? What does it mean for you to look at the best in them? What does it mean when you're caring for somebody day in, day out and you're tired and you're weary? What does it mean to love? Love is not control. Love is not manipulative. That's not what love is. God doesn't come and manipulate or control us. Manipulation and control of each other is not love. How do we love? How do we really love our children? How do we really love the people that are our closest friends around us? How do we love our enemy? How do we love the people that really are difficult and nasty to us and have made our lives really, really bad? And I'm not suggesting that there are so many different ways of loving. Sometimes we have to let go. Sometimes we have to let go of things. let go of relationships. And that's what real love is. Sometimes we have to take hold of relationships and persist with relationships, and that's what love is. There isn't one rule for everybody. What is love in your situation? What is love in your mess, in the place that you're in? What is love when everybody's competitive at work? What does love really look like in that place? Let's just be quiet for a moment and just think, what are you saying to us, God? What's your invitation to us? I wonder if the band, you come on up. So just in your heart, say, what are you inviting me to do? Jesus, how can I love in the place that I'm in? What does that look like? And maybe there's something that God is specifically saying to you. Maybe it's you need to text someone. Maybe you need to invite someone round. Maybe you need to forgive someone. Maybe right now you need to hear some encouragement. And that encouragement is keep going, keep going. Maybe you've never felt loved, and maybe you never knew what love was, and you don't know what it is now. Say, teach me, Jesus, about love. Maybe you're heartbroken today. Your heart's breaking. God, come close, I pray, in the brokenness. Even in your brokenness, say, God, how do I love in this? Give me your wisdom. Give me your strength. How do I love in the mess, God? How do I love this world in the mess? Just listen to what he's saying. Sometimes we can think that love is a beautiful box, all wrapped up and shiny and pink and lovely. But love is a mess, and love is loving in the mess. Love is loving when it's difficult. Imagine a world where every single one of us took hold of that passage. Every one of us loved like that. There's this beautiful quote. It's a Dorothy Day quote. It's coming up here now. It says, everybody wants a revolution, but nobody wants to do the dishes. I love that quote. We all want a revolution, but who's going to do the dishes, everybody? Who's going to love and do the dishes? Imagine a world where love was the predominant thing. Imagine your world where you sacrificed and the person that you love sacrificed equally to each other. We haven't got a one-sided thing going on here. We've got a you first, no you first. Imagine what that would do to our relationships. Imagine what it would do to our friendships. Imagine what it would do to our life with our children, our relationship with our children. Imagine if we fully took on everything that it said here in the Bible and we applied that every single day to every relationship we were in. Imagine what would happen. Imagine what would happen in your relationship if you did that. Imagine what would happen in your relationship with your children. Imagine what would happen in your workplace if you went in and you said, I'm going to love like this, like Jesus, and I'm going to love in the mess of this. Imagine what the world would look like. Imagine what our church would look like if we loved like that. We always saw the best, always championed each other, always cheered each other on. And I know that there's so much that happens like that here. But imagine what would happen in our world. And, of course, we have Jesus, the most amazing example ever of love. And right now we're going to take some communion. I don't know if you've got some in your hand. There are some at the front here if you haven't got some. I'll give you a minute just to get that. So just as you sit in the place that you're at with your communion, the bread at the top, sometimes when we take communion like this, I wonder what Jesus would think, because communion was never meant to be in a plastic pot with a little bit of wafer on the top. Communion's a love feast, and I don't think that's a love feast. I think a love feast is a beautiful thing. I think a love feast is where we share in the mess of each other. The bread is broken. Jesus broke the bread with his friends, and he loved in the mess of the world. He loved in the mess of life, and he broke the bread, and he said, "This is my body, and it's broken for you. Broken for you. And this is my blood. It's poured out for you. Poured out, my love, poured out recklessly, beautifully, compassionately for you. There is no one that loves you like he does, and no one that ever will. No one that has ever shown love like he has, and no one ever will. He's the most amazing person that we worship, that has showed us what love is. How do we know how to love? Because he first loved us. Because he loves you. And as you take this communion today, I just want you to know the love of God, the goodness and the love of God. You're his treasure. You're the person that he loves with all his heart. Do you know the love of God as you take your bread and your wine? Know the love of God. And let's say thank you. Father God, we thank you for your love. I thank you that your love is remarkable and beautiful, but you say to us to love like you did. And so we want to say yes to you, God. I thank you for the body that was broken, your body that was broken so that I could know what love was, so that I could know, that we could know what it is to be loved 100% unconditionally, truly loved. And I thank you for your blood that was poured out for us, your very life given for us, so that we could pour out our lives for others. we could pour out our lives to the people that are close to us. But not only those, but to our children, to our church, to our workplaces, to our families, to our friends, to our neighbours. God, teach us what it is to love like you.